back again. Another glorious week of lifting and gains. Said it was probably going to be a game time decision today on what gym I went to, and I think I'm going to go to what is slowly becoming my primary gym. That is the gym that I normally go to deadlift. I will be going to that gym 3 times this week. Sounds like so. That's pretty cool. Um, you know, we just slowly growing to like it a little bit more. Working with actual competition equipment that I would use because I am gearing up for that big competition that I'm participating in here pretty soon. So I'm not participating in any competition soon. So, but it still is just nice to use the specialty equipment, especially whenever that's kind of like the I don't know, I guess the style that I train to is. But they also have some other equipment that I'm looking forward to checking out because I've never done. Like I said last week, I don't think I've ever done an upper body day at this gym. So um, we'll give that a shot today and see what that's all about, see what that's like. I have no doubt that it will be awesome because I go there for leg day all the time, or deadlift day, I guess. I don't know if you want to call that a leg day. It's a little bit of both. I do deadlifts and pull rowing as well as some legs, but so I've seen the equipment that they have to offer. I've actually even used some of the equipment on the upper body side, but I've never really. There's a couple machines like the plate loaded pec fly. I'm looking forward to that, and then there's another resistance loaded like a lateral raise machine kind of deal. Like if you saw the machine, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I've seen that, but I can't really describe it. So we're gonna try that out too. Got some single arm tricep extensions. Got some neutral grip lat pull downs as well to work into the mix. And of course, they have a mag grip here, so I'm looking forward to that. I like using the mag grips. Been a fan of those for a while now. Started using the mag grips at this gym, and then was just lucky that the new gym that I joined also has mag grips, so I get to use them there as well. So the trade-off on equipment is becoming less and less. Just gonna adjust my camera here a little bit, real quick, so that it's straight. Kind of bugging me, a little off kilter. That's a little better. So that's cool. But yeah, we're probably gonna go here. It's been, I'll say never, but it's been a long time since I've warmed up on bench with kilo plates. So not really sure how that's gonna go. I guess again, just kind of we'll figure it out when we get there. But like squats and even deadlifts, well, deadlifts more than squats. I know how to warm up with kilo plates. You kind of have like that warm up progression that you're used to when you warm up on lifts. If I'm using pound plates on bench, I know it's like, hey, I'm going to do the bar, and then I'm going to do 135, and then we're doing 185, and then 225, and then depending on where we're going from there, kind of dictates the rest of my warm up progression. But I still have like a plan. I know what I'm going to do more or less. I'm not guessing, but I am going to be guessing today. Kind of. I don't really know. It's a lot of loading and unloading for kilo plates because they have the red plates that are 25 kilos, whereas a blue plate would be like a normal 45-pound plate ish. So we're gonna, how do you load that? I don't know. How do you warm up with that? I don't know. 154 to what? 200, 225. It seems like a pretty big jump for warm ups, but I don't know. We'll find out. We're gonna figure it out. So, um, yeah. Outside of that, had a pretty busy weekend. Productive but busy. I did run on Saturday morning. I did 4.25 miles, I think, something like that. And honestly, did not really intend to go that far. I kind of, like I said, I kind of pick a route and run the route less than more often than I pick a distance and try to bend a route to the distance. Um, and so Saturday, I kind of had a rough idea of where I was going. I started off, I was like, I'm going to do this one route, and then turn the air down. It's actually kind of cold. Started off with one route in mind, and then I don't know, a mile and a half in, I decided to change it up, and I was going to shorten the route a bit. I was still going to do more than I did last week, but not as much as I was like planning on doing this week. Um, but I changed it up. I was thinking I was going to hit like 3.5 to 4 miles. Ended up somehow making it over 4. Um, Not really sure what happened there. I guess it was just a miscalculation on my part. It was a lot farther than I thought it was by changing the route. And actually, I ended up running farther than my initial route that I had planned. The initial route that I had planned was probably about 4 miles. And somehow, by modifying that route in an effort to make it less, slightly less, I ended up making it slightly more. So, that'd be a message from whoever, I guess, the powers that be, God, the universe, whatever you, whatever you choose, you know, ended up doing more. So, and it felt pretty good, honestly. It felt pretty good. It was a nice, cool morning. We've had a cold-ish front kind of come through, and it's still a nice day today too. But this front really kind of started on like Friday, and don't get me wrong, it's still hot as hell. But the mornings have been noticeably cooler, in like the mid 60s, which is nice for us this time of year. Um, so, and Saturday morning was no exception. It was nice and cool. It was cool. It was not cold, but it was cool and crisp. Kind of felt like fall a little bit. And I imagine that also probably made it a little easier for me to run. When it's not 90 degrees out at 7 a.m. with 100% humidity, it's probably a little easier to, perform cardiovascularly and otherwise. So, anyways, ended up doing 4.25 miles ish on Saturday. That was kind of nice. And then, yeah, did pretty well with my nutrition on Saturday. I think I got pretty much. I'd have to look at the log, but I think I got pretty much hit all my macros for the most part. Sunday, yesterday, cannot say the same. Did not do that great with my macros, which fine. I did the best I could, given the circumstances. But we just kind of went to my parents' house for birthday celebration and had dinner there. Lunch was kind of limited. I did the best I could though. Had some protein pasta with a little bit of like chuck roast from last week, leftover chuck roast that was made. So I probably got a decent amount of protein in at lunch. Probably over 100 grams would be my guess. And then dinner probably did not do that well with protein. Definitely did very well with carbs though. Lasagna, garlic bread, pie. So got my fair share of carbs in at dinner. But hopefully that helps today. And then we're right back on the gain train today, my usual morning routine. So, a little bit of an off kilter weekend, I guess. Most of my weekends are. I don't really like diet that strictly through the weekends. And I hear all of the perfectionists in the comments already. Oh my God, well, you're leaving gains on the table and you're only doing your best 80% of the time, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year is only 125 days or whatever the fuck it is. And you're leaving gains on the table. You're only getting 80% of the results or 70% of the results that you could. Wow. Shut up. I don't care. So, anyways, yeah, I usually don't diet too strictly on the weekends. I live my life. I have a family. I like to drink beer. I like smoked meats. I like donuts. I got donuts on Saturday with my son. I brought donuts home for the whole family on Saturday, and kolaches. And I had 2 chocolate frosted donuts, a kolache, and like a handful of donut holes, probably like 4 or 5. And I have no regrets. I don't really care. It was delicious. I enjoyed that very much, and I will not be shamed into thinking otherwise. So, yeah. Plus, it's good run recovery, carbs. So, anyways, yeah, off kilter weekend, but we're back at it this week. I got a big week lifting wise this week. So I got bench today. 1 set of 2 is the top set. Now that we're 10 minutes in this video, let me give you a quick rundown about the lifting week ahead. Top set today on bench is 1 set of 2 at 315. I'm using kilo plates, so it's going to be 142.5 or 314. For those of you that don't know the conversion, and then like myself, I still don't have it down. Tomorrow we'll be doing squats. I have 2 sets of 1 at 420. So I believe I'll be coming back here to do squats here again at this gym. So I'll be using kilo plates again. So my choices are either going to be 418 or 424. Haven't decided yet. Probably going to be 418. The more I sit and dwell on it and think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I should probably just stick to 418 is closer to 420 than 424 is. So let's just not overshoot it on week 5 and play the long game here. So probably do that. And then Wednesday we've got, the usual secondary bench day. It's I think this week it's 7 sets of 2, 3 count pause at 255. So that should be fun. Can already hear my elbows screaming at me. And then Thursday got big deadlift day. That's going to be 470, 2 sets of 1 at 470 with I think it's 30 seconds of rest in between each rep. So it's going to be a pretty quick top set. It's technically 2 sets of 1, but it's really pretty close to being 1 set of 2. So, hopefully I'll surprise myself with that, how well that moves. Try to carry over all the stuff I learned and kind of implemented last week, deadlifting, all the new cues I'm trying and all the new techniques. Gosh darn, man, this truck rides are rough. All the new techniques and cues that I was kind of trying to implement last week and use and get better at. This is a chance for me to test those out this week on a nice heavy set. So yeah, we'll see. And then Friday, of course, got tertiary bench again for, Larson press. Don't know what that weight is. Not 100% sure. It's usually pretty light. I think it's 220 this week, maybe. Not sure. But yeah, so that's the week ahead. I'm going to focus on today, though. Get through this chest session. Hoping, too late. I'm committed already. Go. Pulled out in front of the car. Kind of. Nah, he's way back there. He's fine. Anyways, hoping that my elbows cooperate today during bench. I took some ibuprofen last night. They weren't really bugging me over the weekend or anything. Of course, I wasn't really using them, but hoping that they stay cooperative today so that I can get through this without any kind of pain or anything, because we don't really want that. We want to feel good benching and hit a nice heavy double here and, not be absolutely crushed by a lack of lifting progress over the last year and a half. So, that said, I'm pulling into the gym right now, and I'm going to go in here and get warmed up. And hopefully, please say a prayer for my elbows. And I'll be inside. I'll record warm-ups and stuff. It's part of the reason I chose to come here today was because I don't have to really worry about offending anyone with the camera. So, get inside, get warmed up, say a prayer for my elbows, please, and we'll see you in a second. Okay, success. Another successful day in the gym. Top set, feeling good. 314, 142 and a half, 314 for a quick dub. Dub. Felt pretty good. Felt probably like 8.5 or so. So felt good all in all things considered. You know, it's cool and kind of like crazy, and this is the benefit of like tracking your workouts so closely, is that, you know, I've taken videos and written down in previous training logs, you know, like when I hit these milestones, you know, 315, even for a single, you know, that's a milestone by, I think, by anyone's standard probably. And to go from that to, from like a shaky single to a confident double in, you know, I guess it's been almost 2 years now. I mean, it's progress, and that's what that's what happens. Like the later you get into this game, is progress slows way the hell down. I can still remember on my back squats whenever I first started like training for my first powerlifting meet, and I was back squatting. How well my squat improved in a very short amount of time. And then once I got to somewhere between 365 and 400, 405, call it, I kind of stalled. And between then and now, it's been a real grind to even get like, 5 or 10 pound PR. And so it's been, that's part of the benefit of like writing all of this stuff down and keeping such a close watch on your training and tracking things, is that I'm able to look back at last training cycle, the last time I ran this program, I'll say, the last time I ran this program, which is about a year ago. I think it was maybe a little over a year ago. I can't quite remember. I think it was like last summer sometime, like kind of early summer. So I'm pretty sure I ran this back to back. Oh, hold on. Popo, act natural. All right. Anyways, so the point of writing all your stuff down is because it's easy. It's good to look back and see like the last time I ran this program. I go back and look at the weight that I was moving and how excited I was, and now I look at it now, and it just gives me some perspective, on how far I've come. I mean, the last time I ran this program, or maybe it was the first time, it was the first time I ran this program. So this would have been about 18 months ago. This week, right? This week, my bench double was 290 or 290. It was either 290 or 295. I was supposed to hit one set of two on, right? And in my notes, I have it written that I did that. And I remember when I did that, I remember it felt really good. And that was kind of the point in the program where I realized, like, hey, I'm making progress. Bench felt great. I had never hit 290 or 295 for a double prior to that. And I was a little shaky going into it, I remember. But I remember hitting that double and being like, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. I just did that. And then I fast forward to the next training block, which would have been immediately after that. So this would have been closer to like 12 to 14 months ago, probably like 14, 15 months ago. Because I ran this program foolishly back to back last year. And it did not help me. I mean, it obviously didn't hurt me, but, well, actually, it may have actually literally hurt me. I may have gotten injured. But that's beside the point. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I look back last time I ran this program, last summer, and I see I was supposed to do 315 or 310, one of the two. I can't remember. I'd have to look, but it was one of those. It was either 310 or 315 for a double. And I believe I got like 1.5 reps on it, right? So I see that now, and I was disappointed. I was ready to hit a double like I did today, and like confidently, without issue, just kind of go in. In my head, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be cake, not a problem. I've got this. I know I've got this. No worries. Yeah, dude, can you figure it out, man? Jesus Christ, dude. My guy, it's a highway. The speed limit is 45. Why are you going so slow? Sorry. Just trying to get home. But people driving very slowly on the highway here. So, and I remember being disappointed. I remember that day too. I remember that day. I got a spot from one of the guys that worked at the YMCA, who I knew. But I asked him for a spot, and I was like, hey, man, like I should be able to do this. See? But just want you here just in case. And I remember hitting one and like, ooh, do I have another one in me? This might be RPE 10. And I didn't get it up. Got it about halfway. And then it was like, yeah, I need to call in support here. So spotter came and, bailed me out. But all that to say that today I went into the gym and I almost asked for a spot. I mean, honestly, wouldn't have hurt anything, But I decided that I was confident enough in my own ability now, and like what I've seen myself do the last 12 months on bench And like, I knew today that I was going to hit that, that I was going to have pretty much no issue doing that because of just what I've seen. Like I said, the progress I've seen, the progress I know I've made on bench. And so I did. And it's a great feeling, and this is just to say that, this takes time. The farther into it you get, it takes time. And when it starts to get difficult, when the gains stop coming so easily and you really have to fight for those 2.5, 5 pound PRs, it's nice to be able to go back and look at this time last year and see, just if for no other reason, to reassure yourself, if you're anything like me, good night, that's bumpy. If you're anything like me, to go back and reassure yourself and see, like, hey, this time last year, I didn't hit this set. And now I did with ease, probably with one more rep in the tank, maybe two. Second rep slowed down a little bit. I mean, you can see it in the video. Second rep kind of slowed down, but for the most part, at least it felt like it slowed down. But for the most part, dude, like it moved. I got it up. Could I have done another one? Yeah, probably. I'm pretty confidently saying yes, I could have hit 3 on 315. Could I have hit 4? Could I have done 2 more reps? I'm not as confident. Potentially, but again, not as confident. So I don't know. But that's a long way to come from this time last year, whenever I couldn't even do 2. And now I'm here. I am toying with the idea of, like, could I have hit 315 for 4 today? Maybe. So just, you got to track this stuff too. You have to track your workouts, and when you do that, you can improve your workouts. It's not just on the compound lifts. Like, I track compounds to see progress, but I track every accessory exercise that I do. I write it in. I have a spreadsheet. I write it in the spreadsheet. I put notes in there about how it felt. If I think I can go up, was I sandbagging? Did I not feel well that day? Did I get shitty sleep? Was I at a different gym? Did I, anything. Just because when I go back and look, as I inevitably will, I'm going to want to get the clearest picture possible about where I was today. God dang, dude, this is like ridiculous. I'm smacking the phone against rearview mirror, the console. Anyways, so it's important. It's important. What's tracked can be improved. If you track it, then you can improve it. You have measurable metrics, and you can improve those metrics. But if you're just going in all willy-nilly, doing whatever, not really tracking, not really following a program, just kind of, let's try to max bench today. Let's do some arms today. You're really probably not getting the most out of your workouts. So tracking it is important. Keeping a journal, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Dude, I see people in the gym with a notepad and a pen writing their shit down. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to do it on Google Sheets like I do. Do Excel, make a Word document, whatever works for you, man. Keep it in the notes in your phone, whatever you can sustain, whatever works for you. But I think it's important to track it. Just as tracking calories is important, you got to track your food, track your calories. That's as important. That is important, and so is tracking your workouts. So, yeah, track your workouts, man. Monitor that shit if you're serious about it. Even if you're not serious about it, it may help you get serious about it if you put it into writing and have something to look back on in the future. Especially when things get tough, the more advanced you get, the harder the gains become. It's a nice little reminder that even though it doesn't feel like it right now, you're making progress. You have made progress. You've come a long way from where you started, and you're making progress still. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that, I suppose. But it's kind of late, dude. I'm not really like super happy about the fact that it's, after 1 o'clock, but we're gonna get home, get some lunch. I got some work to finish. Yeah, it's gonna be a good afternoon. And on that note, I hope that all of you watching, have a great rest of your day as well. Thanks for sticking around, hanging out with me, listening to me ramble about training and bench and all that jazz. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for some squat. Y'all have a good day. Talk to you then.